Hello everybody, welcome to A Dose of Madness. No, I'm just kidding, but, well maybe I'll do it like that. A Dose of Madness.
Dose of Madness. More than a dose.
Yeah. And here we have Adam James Davis.
Right, engaged. Thank you for having me back.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure doing the one before, so I'm very happy to be back. Thank you very much. Right. And, yeah.
I'm going to just send out this link to peeps.
Sure. Get the phone, put it some. Glad you can hear me better this time. Hopefully the audience can hear it better. Hear me better. I'm not sure why sometimes that audio is a bit substandard.
Almost there. Well, I guess I'll go here. And I guess over here. And then one last one. Oh, dang. Nobody replied all day in one of the chats. That's pretty scary. Okay.
I think A Dose of Madness is quite an appropriate title.
Yeah.
Made this into a series. How much is the dose? Because there's a therapeutic medicinal dose and a poisonous dose.
It's probably a poisonous dose. No, I'm just kidding. No.
Yeah.
Wait, where's my mouse? Okay, let's get started. Let's, where should we start? Okay, we talked about a bunch of, you especially had a lot of ideas. And, so I don't know. Some of them I may be less able to give input, but I can try. And, you know...
What is madness?
What is madness? It is the normal state of things. It is how everybody is, but some people are liked, some people are hated, and and we try to call the people we hate more mad than us. That's how it works. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Madness.
Is it a compliment or an insult? Madness. Is it a compliment or an insult? I think madness by now is quite an old-fashioned.
Yeah.
In terms of mental health, madness is quite old-fashioned. I don't think is used much now these days. You don't describe something bad, but there's something madness. We certainly don't use words like what that's a literary rather than therapeutic, or they use in professional certainly one describe a patient as mad or insane. Maybe a 19th century poet, but I think things like madness or be. But again, it's I think some personality types, madness could be quite something quite heroic. I've lived with obsessive compulsive disorder all my life. Something I was born with, because as far back as I can remember, it's something that affected me in some time in my life. But sometimes I think it's like a kind of tax that you pay for the privilege of being able to think quite differently. Certainly, it's like a tax form payment for creating gift or disposing of the sort of mental conditions in general, I think. Well, that goes back to the age-old genius and madness. There's the moment where it's situated until you yourself said you've been sleep deprived recently. So is that something that you did on purpose, or was it something you sort of perform and try and get a hold of, or something you do in a part of the experiment? I know certainly in hot weather it's very dangerous.
I have kind of lost control a little bit, but not like super badly. But I started to mostly talk to people very late. Usually like calls, like video calls or something.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Is that because a lot of people you talk to are in different time zones?
I think also people stay up later. I try to sleep at 10. For me, sleep depriving is like, if I stay up till midnight, I'll probably wake up at 4 or 5 a.m. and then I'm like stuck awake. I can't really easily. And then I take a bunch of coffee, and then it's too late for sure after that.
Well, yeah, I think around 5 a.m. it's when you start to hear birds tweeting.
Yeah.
That's certainly. I mean, that's only because normally the sound of the bird song is like beautiful and relaxing, therapeutic, but I think it's in other situations like that, hearing bird song is quite anxiety induced, especially if you're trying to sleep. You haven't been able to see the time, 4 a.m., after 4, 5 a.m., and you haven't been able to sleep, and by the time you hear birds song, you see yourself definitely sleep now because the sun's almost coming. So that's an interesting situation. Something quite beautiful. Birds like anxiety, and yes, sleep disorders are unfortunately something that quite self-reinforcing. Trying to fall asleep, but the stress of not being able to fall asleep lets you fall asleep. Certainly, I was telling you earlier, in England we've had a heat wave where temperatures have gone up to about 40 degrees. I've noticed an interesting effect this high temperature has had on my dreams. They've been a lot more intensely surreal, ineffable. I've been unable to describe them. They've been crazy and normal, and it was definitely because of the heat. Same reason, fever dreams. Again, very, very intense, very strange. When you're unwell, body temperature is higher than normal, so as it's occurring, so you get these crazy dreams. So, and the high temperatures here in England during the heat have had a similar effect. Recently, I've also noticed a pattern with my dreams that they're mostly intense just before I wake up. I don't know if you've experienced this pattern, but it feels like my dreams have been most intense. I kind of had to guess for they got quite interested to know if you dream a lot and if you kind of sleep deprivation, interrupted sleep schedule that you do with stuff in effect, you dreamt less or dreamt more. All the changes. Do you keep a dream diary?
Yes, but I don't dream that much. I mean, I do probably. Right. I just don't remember it.
Right. Yeah. Well, with dream journaling, the more you do it, the better you get at remembering the dream become. You consistently keep a dream diary. Yeah, I do as well, on and off, but not as consistently as I'd like, because yeah, keeping a dream diary fills reams and reams of pages. Sometimes can be a bit time consuming most of the time. I do like to share some of my dreams on Facebook, or two of my friends on Facebook, and I tried to do some dream interpretation, which yields some interesting comments and results. That's an interesting one for me, because for years and years and years I've loved dreams. The idea of being a dream explorer, an Ivanhoe, and exploring dreams. But I've been very interested in other kind of similar like sleep paralysis, years, but still I've been like skeptical in terms of like dream interpretation. It just seemed like those things that maybe so vague that maybe you could interpret them anyway. But it's interesting to hear the love of dreams, people are skeptical, not too convinced by the idea of dream interpretation. Maybe I'm just maybe dreams can. But I don't hold something like Freud, and it'd be nice to kind of like explore dream interpretation away from kind of Freudian stuff.
There's a comment. It's so someone has asked, do you guys think you're baseline selfish, not in terms of maintaining a reputation, but otherwise? While some people live to be overly considerate, you might just not really care. I don't know. I feel like it's hard to understand.
Fully. I understand the question. Could you read it again?
Yeah. Well, I think. Okay, so the question is basically if we are baseline selfish, and the first thing that I think comes to my mind is that the idea of that we are all inherently selfish, kind of. I think there's I don't know if that's what they're asking, but they also mentioned considerateness. Like some people are hyper considerate, and whether or not, or like, well, others might just not really care. Oh, maybe. So I guess it's asking like, are you more selfish or altruistic?
Okay. That's an interesting question. Kind of highlights what I like to call the altruism problem. So, if you're altruistic and you are charitable, money or some food, does the person who's altruistic and does these things, do they do it? But it could be argued that they are getting, they're experiencing good feeling by doing charitable things. So it could be said that they're actually they're still pursuing self-interest because they want to feel good by knowing that they're doing something altruistic. They are working to have like a positive reputation, to look good in the eyes of people who see these acts of kindness. So it's an act of kindness really an act of kindness, or if it's still something that someone does because it makes them feel good, like it gives them more pleasant. So that's kind of like the problem. philosophy of hedonism, really. People try and refute hedonism and offer rebuttals like uh, alternatives to a hedonistic lifestyle, like duty, self-sacrifice, gallantry, living a virtuous life. But I'd still be arguing that all those other things still make the person feel good. It's still uh, it's hedonism, but a bit more sophisticated and with extra steps. You know, if you're uh, living a virtuous life, then you'll yield positive results and will experience positive valence. If you're a dutiful person who is ready to sacrifice himself for a good cause, then knowing that you've cemented your place in history by doing something heroic, that feels good.
I think.
Yeah, I hope I've not misunderstood the question.
Well, yeah, that's kind of like that was the thing I was thinking of at first, and then I think I'm going to answer more like personally, I guess, in terms of like a colloquial idea of it. I think that for me, I think I like get into. I don't know, I end up doing a lot of certain altruistic things, but I also. I don't know, like I feel like I live my life in a way right now that's really weird where like I associate with a lot of people and I feel like I feel like it's like on some level it's selfish that I do a lot of these creative things. And but
It's not a bad thing.
it's also kind of like I'm also giving it away for mostly free. Um
Mm.
and I also do things like I end up like sort of investing a lot of time and a lot of people to the point that like it starts getting really weird. Like I don't know, like I get into situations where like the situation that I keep freaking out about lately is I feel like it's like I will start talking to more people within like certain networks or spheres, and then at some point it's like I inevitably encounter a situation where people want me to like turn against their enemies or something weird
Oh wow, that's
like
not
I
good.
almost feel like and I think like at first I just thought like, oh my gosh, why are people doing this? But then now I sort of am realizing lately that it's almost like an inevitable thing where it's like because everybody has like these conflicts. And I feel like if I just start like talking to more people without discriminating based on how all the other people are like choosing which people to talk to, then I'm going to encounter like some people that dislike each other. And it gets weird though. Like I'll know people for a long time, and then it comes up, and then it's like this actually difficult choice to like, I don't know. Like I'll bond with someone for like 2 months ish. Not even bond that much, but then like someone else, like I had someone remove that person from a group without asking me, my group, and then I knew that other person for years, and then it's kind of like I think the other person that got booted is like wanting me to be loyal to them. And it's even weirder because I'm in conflict with the person that decided to boot them. So it's like this, it's just like this crazy thing. And I feel like stuff like that happens too much. And I feel like I invest my life socially a lot, but I think I'm not very good at organizing. Like I'm anxiously answering this thinking that I don't know who actually this person is. And I'm like thinking, what if they think I'm very selfish? That's my thought. And if you think that, that's okay. I accept it. I am a selfish in some ways. And I'm trying not to be, though. So try to be hopefully not selfish. Like sometimes I feel like I'm too selfish, and other times I feel like I'm just kind of being a doormat. So it's kind of a weird thing. It's like, or maybe I'm somehow both. I don't know.
Levy. I kind of reminds me of something I've been pondering recently. It's for a couple of weeks. It seems to me like the internet and social media is quite corrosive to empathy and pair bonding, friendship forming, sustaining. Um, I mean, you hear about it and read read about all the time, like on Reddit or YouTube stories, like you know, boyfriend and a girlfriend have uh, been in a romantic relationship for like 5, 6, 10 years, and suddenly the girlfriend goes to the boyfriend. Boyfriend sees his ex suddenly with a new man within a matter of weeks. Yeah, or um, like another couple has been together for 6 years, and boyfriend has ghosted the girl, and the girl finds out that he's seeing someone else almost immediately after, and they've been blocked. And but so it seems to me like the internet media is quite corrosive to uh, empathy and the ability to pair bond. And I wondered why. I think it's comparable to uh, like we were talking about driving earlier. It's comparable to driving road rage.
Hmm.
The people are kind of separated from each other. There, each person is cocooned. Um, what if you experience if drivers experience like road rage and bad feelings to their fellow drivers, it's they're so cocooned, separated, and cut off from each other that they can be angry with each other, swear, and then both parties could get away with it. Compare that to like walking on the footpath or the pavement. You can't if you accidentally bump into someone, or you'll say sorry to each other. Oh, sorry, that was an accident, because you won't be able to behave uh, like on the pavement badly as you would both, because that separation isn't there. And I think that's similar to the internet, social media. And people just end up being abusing each other, really, being neglectful of feelings because so easy to uh, so easy people to distance themselves from each other. And nowadays, we all know how fast spreads on social media. Um, so if news travels faster than it ever has done before, so does gossip. So um, I do wonder now if friendships have uh, shorter lifespan than they used to because of all these factors. Um, I can't imagine you being involved in these webs. Okay, it reminds me of something my mother always said. Uh, it might be useful for people in these kind of situations. You only go through your life with probably 4 or 5 true friends. Most people have 4 or 5 proper friends throughout their whole life, certainly no more that can be counted on one hand. You should always keep your own counsel, honour your privacy, and be kinder to yourself. Because if you're kinder to yourself, you cultivate self-love and love yourself. You help you will come to yourself before stepping into these webs. I don't want to get involved in it because that's toxic. That's good for my mental health, my physical health, and these kind of situations where friends, ex-friends fall out with each other, it can affect your creativity as well. Like you don't want to jeopardize your work, because, and I think being a creative person, if you let your work, creative vision, occupy your mind, your time, and your energy, still while trying to recognise the toxic things that aren't worthwhile, push them away. You certainly don't want to be in situations where you're pressured to choose. I mean, obviously, I don't know these situations. Maybe you don't know exactly what, but to protect people in a creative space like this, maybe you don't want people coming along, engaged doing this, should be trolling, out of spite. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You want to give like unsolicited advice, full stop.
So,
it might be useful to some of your viewers.
I turned up your volume through my software. It's still a little, like, quiet and stuff.
Is it as bad as last time?
Probably not. I don't know.
Not as bad?
I think so. I think not as bad.
Awesome. I probably should get it.
Yeah.
I've been saying that for ages, I know.
So I think, I don't know, I think what I probably do that's wrong is I probably try to be friends with too many people to the point that it's not realistic. And I think I get, like, desperate. I don't know. Because I actually like a lot of people. And,
yeah, I think when you try to be friends with too many people, or you try to be friends with everyone, I think it just gets very, very, very confusing, and there's so many different kinds of people, and I think it can be quite exhausting to try and to mirror that, to mirror some of their traits that you can form friendships.
yeah.
I think that's certainly something that I did when I was probably about 15 or the years before that, up to about like 18, trying to be friends with everybody. And you just end up becoming a bit of a people pleaser. And like perhaps doormat, like you said, that I think that compromises person to person integrity. I think it confuses one's internal landscape, because I don't think it's supposed to be. Obviously, entrance futures talk. They have a negative connotation. Like a hive mind, or everybody. I know, like a trope in David Pearson's. You know, regularly, there's like a fuzzy MDMA like state where everybody has that kind of enhanced empathogenic love for each other. Kind of like how it was in raves, creative fantasies. Strangers will argue each other, like that, but more global, which is a understandable, imaginative dream. It would be nice if something like that. But until then, I think, yeah, you try and be a people pleaser, be friends with everyone, just completely burnt out. You probably lose yourself first. You form true friendships with people, and you have things in common. Those things in common can be like reinforcing, strengthening effect. But when you try and become a third body, it's the opposite end. You probably can't remember what attracted you to some people who what attracted you to some people who were genuinely affected. It just dilutes your personality, moral compass. Pretty much.
I think we should get into like some of the other topics. I think this one freaks me out a little bit. Not that it freaks me out, but I think it's a weird thing to get into on stream. That's for sure. Which I don't know. I'm sort of open to it, but I also think, I don't know, like probably any of the people watching, it's like somehow it actually involves them somehow. Like it probably not. I don't actually know if that's true, but it seems like it's possible.
This is what I mean. Like when personal things encroach on your creativity, it's something I've experienced. It's a very uncomfortable feeling because it's like a sacred ground, and you don't want these things that to kind of like pollute it, right? But yeah.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. That whole topic is really interesting. But I guess the other reason I feel weird about it is I would just start like, I feel like I would just be ranting about the things that bother me, and it would become like this. I don't know. It'd become
create a monster.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I almost feel like I wasn't supposed to answer that question. Like that's where my head's
okay.
on.
Yeah. No, don't second guess yourself.
Yeah. Like damn it. I want to know who it is now. It's freaking me out. Oh, that's why it's a bad topic. That's why. Because I'm like, who is that? That's probably someone what if that's like someone I care about? What if I gave the wrong answer? I'm supposed to have a persona.
What if I gave the wrong answer?
I don't know. Yeah.
What's this persona project you've got?
Oh yeah, did you see it?
I haven't seen it all the way through yet. I need to catch up on some of your stuff.
So it is I feel like my eyes look so asymmetrical today. I don't get what's happening. I think it's just the angle partly, but I know they are symmetrical.
Might be the sleep deprivation.
Yeah, maybe. So I guess the Persona projects is about, it kind of goes into ego death. It is the idea that
Right.
it focuses on the idea that, like, it kind of, okay, so like one of the cool lines in it, I think, is that we're all just paid actors pretending to be ourselves. And by that, what it means is that we are paid with incentives, like people reward us or punish us, and we're trying to like minimize our fears of being punished and maximize how much rewards we get. And then we're kind of like convincing ourselves that this is who we are. And I don't think we really are anybody. I think the who we are is just us chasing these incentives. Like, I don't think we actually align with like a person. I think we're sort of role-playing it based on how we can gain benefits. Except I do think morality is sort of a separate thing. I think people cling to that, and that's sort of like, that also incentivizes our behavior, I think. So that's like a incentive that's almost maybe like separate from the incentives coming from other people, although it actually kind of is too, because the whole point of morality is basically how do we manage other people's desires and feelings, and what's the best way to like do that, I feel like how do we maximize well-being or something like that. And so I think it still is actually tied to other people, but it's in a way that's like It's less about what people overtly demand from you and starts to get into something a little bit like what is actually good for that person or thing, or what's more fair for a lot of people at once. Um,
Can you know someone better than they know themselves?
I think it depends. I think you can know things that they failed to notice, but I don't know about having a better picture overall of that person. I think that probably all the people individually, I think they would have better pictures of themselves, except they're also biased because of their ideals. And other people, their biases will be based on either their ideals or how much they hate the person or like the person. They'll kind of like frame that person as fitting within what they want to see out of the person. And same with like the individual themselves will kind of see themselves like that. If they judge themselves harshly or like themselves a lot or whatever ideals they're trying to fit, or maybe their insecurities even.
Yeah.
I think
That
people can observe their own behavior and predict patterns, though. But they might be creating the patterns, and then their prediction of the future is being sculpted by their assumptions that this is who they are. And then other people start telling you who you are, and they start making like prescriptions about, I think you're like this kind of personality or this type of persona, or like people force it on us, I think. Like they tell you you're going to fail, then you try less hard because that's wasting your time if you try too hard. Or you just believe that you actually suck at things and then it's not worth your actual peak motivation, which then makes you do bad, and then you're like, that proves it, I'm bad.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, I think we're trapped in like a society that's imposing self-fulfilling prophecies on everybody. Like I feel like we're being pushed into that. I think gender is like that. I think people's personalities are like that. Their belief in their potential. And some of it's based in reality, but a lot of it's kind of like self-creating and perpetuating. Like you might actually become really bad at something because as a child you believed that you were going to be bad or always are bad, like it's just embedded into you. But then since you never developed whatever skills are necessary for that thing, you didn't push yourself super hard because you assumed you sucked at it, then you actually kind of do in a sense. Like it's more like a skill that you neglected though.
Yeah. Self-fulfilling prophecies and feedback and self-reference, or inspiring yet to everyone who's been compelled by such phenomena for years and years. Self-reference as well. It's someone tells you you're rubbish at something, do you believe them, and that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and then you end up failing in that particular thing, or do you think, well, I'll show him, and then try extra hard to be good at it, and then prove them wrong. So it's like, which one is the real you?
Yeah.
When you were describing that, I was thinking of like scientists with mice and rats with sugar and Skinner boxes. You kind of scientists know what the mouse wants better than the mouse itself, because the scientist is more sentient, sapient, and exists in a higher order, living things down at the mouse. It's more about the brain than the mouse itself.
I'm suspicious of that. I think it would seem to be true, but I also think the scientists will have like, I think they more strongly have a filtered assumption-based understanding, and I think that the mouse, they might not have any way to like have some, maybe they don't have like some consistent understanding of themselves, or maybe they do actually, that would be weird, but I think it would just not be through language. But I think the fact that they're actually experiencing their experiences gives them a lot more insight than Like, okay, like the thing I instantly think of is like the head twitch response in psychedelic research. They
right.
link that to being, I guess, evidence that people are, or that the mice are tripping. But then THC suppresses the head twitch response, and then CBD enhances it, and then that doesn't
I'm
really.
not familiar with this head twitch response. I don't think I've heard of this before.
Yeah, that's how they study.
Quite self-encouraged.
It's like how they study tripping in animals. They assume that that means that they're having a psychedelic trip.
But like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
We got that wrong.
I haven't actually
There's
seen
lots of ways you could twitch.
Yeah.
Oh, I've not heard that before actually. Yeah, the field of animal cognition. It's I mean, yeah, I think I think animals are certainly more intelligent than most people give them credit for. Elephants are certainly very intelligent and sentient, sapient. So when we talk of maximising well-being, what implications does this have on the animal kingdom? And how can we measure an animal preference? I think there's, just go on YouTube and see all these animal videos. I think we've got so much, we could say evidence now that animals are self-aware, that they're not just automatons who don't feel anything, they do feel pain.
Oh, the mirror thing, I think that the mirror, like they do the mirror test for self-awareness. I'm actually really skeptical of. Well, I think the animals that respond to it, I have a hypothesis that those animals actually evolved to have a certain kind of concept of what they look like to other animals. Whereas, like, I think that's different than, like, I think other animals that fail it might be aware of, like, themselves existing and feeling things, but not, like, tracking a third-person kind of meta-awareness. Because I think the third-person thing, I don't think it's a sign of intelligence, and I don't think it's a sign of, like, I'm not sure what else, but I think what it is a sign of is, like, because I think the awareness like that, the use of it is to manipulate the other animals in, like, a group of animals. Like, the purpose would be, like, trying to make the other animals think that you are feeling or doing something that isn't true. Like, I feel like that evolves with deception, kind of. And I think that it's possible that very intelligent animals that do actually have an awareness of, like maybe not the same type of awareness, but I think they would have an understanding of their feelings, or like the implications of it, or how they should respond, or they'll have, like, reasoning still. But I think that they're just kind of totally not looking through this lens of how can I hijack the perceptions of the other animal. And I think that, like, that depends on whether or not deception evolves, possibly. And I don't know for sure, though. This is, like, really hypothetical, but this is kind of what I think about that. I'm curious what you think.
I think deception. Sign of intelligence. It's unfortunate that the intelligence effort being put together, it's always positive. Managers, for example, they are arguably more sentient and sapient conscious and self-aware. But at the same time, we potentially commit respect that level of property animals don't do to each other. What are the implications of something like AI and existential risk? I think singular variables of this kind of messianic vision, fantasy of super intelligent AI, but whisking us into utopian existence where we is being taken care of or something, we've left it up. But maybe AI, whilst being several orders of magnitude intelligent, still like to have the empathy to correlate, but treat us potentially worse than humans do animals. Yeah, I mean certainly in like suffering abolitionism, animal cognition, very complicated issue. When you were talking about the Twitch response, I was thinking about made me think about cats with catnip. See lots of videos on YouTube of cats enjoying catnip. It makes you wonder, like, depending where you live, some animals have more privileges than humans because a human who just wants to alter their consciousness as easily as a cat does with catnip, and they risk jail, prison, fired, or being fired from their job. And a bit more of a prickly issue is euthanasia. So it's a bit controversial, but it could be argued that again animals have another privilege because if a pet is suffering extremely unpleasant, they are euthanized. But humans don't have that.
You know what we can talk about?
Yeah.
You mentioned the euthanization.
I just have yourself.
I have a take. I wonder what you think about this. I sort of think. I think that suicide. This is a really spicy take. Just a warning, everybody. I mean, I don't know how spicy it is, but it's about suicide. So just putting that out there.
Absolutely, figure one.
I think that people actually should not kill themselves, and especially I think it's contextual, but I think that doing that, it's like I think it's like I see it like you're traumatizing a bunch of people that whoever cared about you is probably going to get traumatized.
Oh, definitely.
And I think
that's the big problem too.
I think it's almost sometimes like an emotional version of like a mass shooting. Like it's like a mass trauma induction to a lot of people. And I think some of the people that want to die, they're actually doing that on purpose. I don't think that's necessarily all of them or anything like that. Like, I think it's the people who are like, I think there's a certain type of person that feels pain, but they also resent everybody and they kind of want to die as a way of like you'll all see. Yeah. Like, you screwed me over. I want all, like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to sit here and suffer. And also, I want all of you to feel bad, kind of thing. And again, I don't think that's everybody. And even one person might fluctuate between the two. Like, I've definitely felt like that. Like, I felt upset enough and betrayed enough that I, like, felt like that type of person. But I wouldn't do that. As I am describing, it's, I think, unethical. But I don't know.
That's definitely, I mean, yeah, like yourself, it's something that it's entered my mind, and I think probably it's entered everybody's mind to some degree, some others, something that certainly entered my mind. But that is the big roadblock to well, that and the instinct for self-preservation anyway. That and reflecting on the devastation we leave behind. Um, it is like, well, I quite liked your analogy there. It's like kind of like mass shooting. It's a mass traumatic event that affects multiple people and will continue to affect them for years and years. That's definitely a big roadblock to to actually go through with it. And I remember reading or watching something quite interesting where there's like a study done on people who were suicidal and they jumped a building or a bridge or something and they survived. And the results were like 95, 99. Great majority of people who survived suicide attempt from jumping, they all reported that as soon as they let go or jumped or gravity took over, they regretted it. Um,
Wow.
yeah, almost every single one reported instant regret the moment they let go or jumped or just let gravity do its job.
Yeah, it's
Reported just instant
impulsive.
regret. Yeah, instant regret. That was obviously a study done on people who survived such a thing. There's a
Hmm.
famous bridge, I think, I don't know if it's New York, San Francisco, or Golden Gate. Yeah, they all reported instant regret, like, oh no, I shouldn't have done this. Um, and it just reminded me of a very old memory when I was 12 and 13 in high school, just before high school, actually. I was probably younger. I remember the teacher saying, I don't know why he was telling us to a class of people so young, but he said, I remember this teacher saying suicide is a coward's way out. I think it was like RE or
Oh my
something.
gosh.
He said that verbatim. So
Wow.
suicide is a coward's way out. It was like 8, 9-year-old school. That always stuck with me because I remember that was one of the earliest memories of me being disgusted and angry with the teacher I otherwise respect.
I think I've heard that
And
take too.
yeah, it's a really bad take on coward's way out. So,
Shame people into living.
yeah, when you consider what some people go through, it's no wonder, But I've heard that a few times actually in terms of the coward's way out. Heard it a few times since, maybe heard it a few times before even that. But it's yeah, it's a bad take. Right, right.
Yeah, I think it's
And I'm very
like.
scared of death. Very, like, death.
You
So
said you're scared of death?
very, or not existing.
I think I am. I think I am when
Scared
it's
of,
closer.
yeah.
It's kind
Which
of
goes back
tricky.
to, yeah, yeah. So I'm 33 in November, so it's kind of um, like close to home. I mean, obviously, hopefully, I've got another like 60, 50 years. But by the time I'm 90, maybe we'll all be able to live to 300 because we'll all be degraded. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm terrified of extreme suffering. I don't suffer a terrible death. Um, I'm scared of not existing as well. Which is more of the idea. I mean, I think the idea of nothing just scares me anyway because it doesn't seem like nothing could truly exist. Nothing is a thing, so again, it's paradox.
Sometimes I start believing in reincarnation.
Yeah, I'm very kind of like afterlife positive. I do think there is um, which doesn't make sense to be scared of death if I believe in an afterlife. But obviously, what can be wrong? Yeah.
We'll wake
I'm
up
willing
in a
to bet there is not.
simulation.
Yeah.
We just put the hard mode on the game and picked the most intense year of all time. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I certainly think we're living through most intense moments in history right now. We've got a front seat road to some real craziness going on that I think a lot of people in the past would be quite jealous. Had like Congo, COVID, Ukraine, and vaccines, and this and that and the other. It's been a real show. I'm very intrigued to watch where it goes next. I hopefully we won't have another lockdown again.
Oh, I'm still living like that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't go out at all. I like.
What are the? Well,
or wait, what'd you say?
What are the restrictions lifted in California?
I think so. Yeah.
But that kind of lockdown living is still carried on over.
My lockdown living. I mean, like with the car situation, but also I live with my grandmother at the moment, and I feel like I have to protect her. So that's like a huge thing.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's definitely like, I don't know what I'm thinking. I think it's just like, I feel like I just can't get COVID. I feel like it's just too fucked up. Like, I feel like it's like this gamble where I'm like, well, should I just kill this old person just to go to like this fun event? Like, I gotta have fun sometimes. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. It's like, that's not how I'm thinking though. I feel like every time I go out, it's like this sketchy.
Yeah, it's that kind of really unhelpful. You're killing your grandma trick. Yeah, it was quite a nasty thing to put in people's heads. But what you do though, you do need to go out and socialise with people.
Exist.
Face-to-face interaction. Yeah, surely grandma would just shame you.
No, she doesn't get upset about it. I think
she wouldn't want you to
save her. No, I'm just kidding.
Should be a shutter. She would probably want you to go out and join us.
I think she doesn't. I don't even think she realizes the extent that I'm doing that. I think she might just think I like that my life is just in a weird spot. I mean, it is technically, but I don't think she realizes the extent that I'm anxious about the idea of me causing her death because I was just wanting to like feel good or have fun or something. Or even like things that are like responsibilities though. Like there's been times I'll go to the DMV and I'm like super anxious about that idea.
What's the DMV, sorry?
Oh, the DMV is a place that everybody hates, that you go for basically paperwork for your car or whatever else.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm very close to my parents as well. I have a similar kind of protective instinct with them, of course, but it's less with like COVID and more with. Hopefully it won't happen, but this kind of the possibility of impending social collapse.
Yeah, like where society's over, the party's over. What now? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like in some parts of the world, even in some parts of this country, the dystopia is already here. The dystopia, featured reference to the book, to what realism indicating. some respects, like just do good here. I haven't been to New York for a long time, but I think New York is one of the places that probably qualifies as a legitimate bit of stuff. If you know what important about the place, it's true. I think now the planet is so many extremes, even in a little country like here, like Great Britain, we've got places of great beauty, but also or urban places that are quite right. Do the contrast separated just by a of miles.
I think there's a...
quite extreme.
Sorry, I feel like I keep possibly doing that, where I just start blurting things out.
No. Please blurt too hot inside.
Well, what I was going to say is there's this idea called adaptive radiation and evolution. And the idea is basically that so like when the dinosaurs went extinct, that all the destruction of all the niches, they basically made a lot of space for the mammals to just rapidly evolve. Like they weren't being blocked. And it's like the sudden plethora of resources. And I think that this happens in culture too. Like basically the niches though are like people's lifestyles, and those lifestyles block cultural change. Like people are so plugged into habits that they're just kind of like ignoring possibly evolutionary like I don't know, inputs. And so then like when the plague happened, the Renaissance happened a little bit after. And I think it's because it destroyed their society in such a way that people now have to like invent a new lifestyle to replace it. Like it's I don't know, it's easy to just stay plugged in to a particular way of life because we just get so comfortable, and we're afraid of like losing that. But then when we do lose it, now we can invent something new. And I think like the infrastructures of our societies, they are kind of the things, the skeletons of society. The way everything works is the thing that actually makes it harder to progress a lot of the time. It's almost like, I don't know, and so I like, this is going to be like more tangential, but I think like psychedelics do that to your brain. I think like addiction and traumas, the way it's like supposedly treating those things, I think it's like almost tearing down habitual patterns that you relied on for your comfort, either from pleasure or avoidance of pain or fear. And so I don't know, I think there's like all those different levels, like the evolutionary adaptive radiation, cultural adaptive radiation, and then personal adaptive radiation. And I think when there's a cultural one, it probably forces people into a personal one. Like I bet like I feel like at the beginning of the pandemic, the idea is just the feeling that our whole lives are just gone now. I feel like that had psychedelic feelings to it. Like I felt like it was like tripping. Like I don't know if that happened to you, but it happened to me. And like once the riots started, it was kind of like this epiphany moment where I'm like, whoa, society is like possibly burning down. Like everybody's like just rejecting it, and like it's happening. This is it.
Yeah, it's yeah. I heard there was like a theory about the Enlightenment and the Renaissance that it kind of happened. It kind of coincided when more and more people started to drink coffee and much less alcohol. So there was a theory that played a part in this kind of the Enlightenment, Renaissance, and cultural change where people drinking less alcohol and drinking coffee instead had this kind of a profound effect.
I think that makes sense. I think any sort of like,
Yeah.
I think even the internet is doing that. Like the internet has spawned a bunch. It's almost like the internet existed now as like a blank slate for a new culture. It's almost like we just,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and then the canvas got filled with all these echo chambers, and maybe it's kind of like annealing now. It's like settling down, and people are just
Yeah.
in their little habitual bubbles.
Yeah, when you were talking about persona and ego death, it reminded me of something I noticed in online, like psychedelic communities on, like Facebook, for example. I noticed a little bit of an echo chamber effect there, where people constantly talk about ego death as if it was some kind of competitive sport, and
Yeah.
and so something like the Qualia Computing Network or Qualia Research Institute is just a breath of fresh air. that kind of blows all that stuff away, and because it's something pioneering and innovative, and a lot of these other communities are get stuck in these kind of these cliches, really.
Competitive psychedelic use.
Yeah, yeah. Just
Gamified.
if you've not had an ego death, you're, you're down there, and I'm up here because I've had 100 ego deaths.
Yeah.
I just got very quite annoying seeing the same words, same terms. Uh, yeah, ego death. Death. That or people saying, "Oh, your ego is getting in the way. That's why you had a bad trip." Well,
Oh no.
maybe something. Very blasé about bad trips, and like that. Even a bad trip is a good trip. Which I don't know how you feel about that, but
I think they can be. Like, well,
mm,
I don't even think actually the content matters all the time. I've had experiences that were anxious and weird and uncomfortable, and then when they ended, I was basically hypomanic, and I usually am like hypomanic generally after. Even if, like, and these are like with small doses where I didn't necessarily have like crazy insights or something. Like it's not like I had a takeaway that made me hypomanic. I think the effect just kind of it's like it leaves me hypomanic kind of inevitably. Maybe not always though, but I do think that typically happens. And I think that's therapeutic, even though that's closer to like something like psychiatric usage of normal drugs, I guess, because it's like it's not just me having insights and my life is profoundly altered, but I do think that they shake me out of habitual ways of thinking and like clinging to frameworks in a way where I start to like think about uh, frameworks in ways that I'm willing to just be like, just throw it away without thinking of like my usual like I want this to be true. I invested all this time. Like I feel like that happens less, and I can just assess it with less clinging. And I'll do stuff outside of my normal behavior. Like I'll clean my room if I was avoiding it for a long time, and I think that's useful. And sometimes the epiphanies don't really come from like being on the drug, but I think like weeks later, because of the fact that I stopped clinging to whatever it was, now I'm like thinking of new things, but it's not because I'm on anything. It's just because I stopped like obsessing about some other framework or
it's like a
paranoid
secondary
thing.
effect, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, when you mentioned small doses, it reminded me with psychedelics, there's kind of like an area, a zone. It's probably just between like microdoses and proper dose. Like you don't take enough, um, you'll just be kind of on a bit of a perpetual come up, and it's quite an anxiety-inducing experience where it would have been better to have taken more than that.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense, but yeah.
No, I'd actually go into that in the personas post. I actually try to explain that.
Okay, yeah.
Some of what you said,
Right.
I think you might disagree. Like when you said the part about ego, like you're just clinging onto your ego, I kind of went that way, but I wasn't saying it like it's a bad thing or like,
Yeah.
more I was saying it like in the sense of, well, I think there's like a hierarchy of conditioning where it's like we're conditioned to fear people harming us, then we're conditioned to fear that people will harm us if we do X behavior, and then like it just kind of like is this stack of things where like say I do something cringy, people will punish me. So I'm both conditioned to fear myself being cringy and then fear other people treating me different for being cringy and just fearing pain itself. Like there's like layers of this thing. And I think it's way more complex than even that. Like I think there's like layers where you're like, I don't know, there's like a whole string of things. Like we'll get like really paranoid and nuanced about the ways we're behaving to avoid all possible routes to fear. And I think what our ego or persona is that we are trying really hard to feel good, which involves like avoiding other people hurting us. And like if you take a psychedelic, sometimes the low dose, I think the uncomfortableness, sometimes it might come from like, I forgot how to be normal, but I remember that I still remember that people will punish me if I'm not doing it right. And then you get like, oh, I'm like naked right now. And I know that's bad because people are going to judge me. And but then you can get to the point where you can't even remember that that anything is weird or what it means to be weird. Like I feel like the detachment from reality or memory or understanding of your normal life, like if you have a partial understanding, you have like this fear of like, I can't like navigate this reality, and now it's like I'm just worse at it. Like now I'm just bad at reality and that sucks. This is just bad. But then if you kept going, it's like you might strip away things where it's like reality is bad because they're forcing me to live this gendered rules. And like you might just like you might have traumas that you forgot to be afraid of, and then you start doing things outside of that, and then you're like, wow, like I can just do that. I didn't know that. And you're like doing things outside of the rules basically because you forgot what the rules are. Sorry, that was tangent hard.
No, it reminded me of more pleasant effect of like OCD through that intrusive thought, especially when we talked about cringy life events. Often with those who do intrusive thoughts, where you try not to think about something stronger than thought is.
Yeah.
I think cringe. I did a lot of cringy things happen throughout my life, and I think a lot of cringy life events can leave us with trauma. Cringe is a kind of like a mini PTSD, and it's like nails on a chalkboard. Like get something and think, oh, I can't believe I did that 10 years ago. It's really.
Yeah.
And another kind of intrusive thought you get is, say if you ask a question and they answer you, your mind tricks you into thinking that they didn't answer. They lied or something, and you have to ask them again and again. It feels like they haven't answered your question even though you heard them. But your brain's telling you that it knows. You just imagine that they answered it. You have to ask them again to hold them. So that kind of, I suppose, I can detach you from reality a little bit.
You have to be like Mr. Girl. He's kind of like, you're not answering the question. Can you please answer the question? He's a YouTuber, and he acts
Oh,
like he'll have guests that are like he has a hotline show. They call
yeah.
in random guests, and he'll like it's kind of scary. Like he'll be like, "You're not answering the question. I'm gonna kick you off the show if you don't answer the question. Answer
Oh,
the
that's what it's
question
like.
right
Yeah.
now."
Uh,
Like he's so
yeah.
intense, and then they'll start answering, and he's like, "No, this is not the answer to the question." And he'll just do all these things that are so intense.
What's his name?
Mr. Girl, which is kind of a
Girl.
play on a rejection of gender.
I thought it might have been. Yeah. It's yeah. Yeah, I was watching clips from the Aviator as well. Leonardo DiCaprio, he plays Howard Hughes. The film, his OCD gets progressively worse and worse.
Hmm.
Vaping. It's tiptoe through his house and it's all covered in like plastic and leaves and germs and stuff. Yeah, it's not that bad. It's probably improved actually. It's quite bad. I think having a bit more of a knowledge about it,
Hmm.
a bit more, learned a bit more about the mechanism, what's causing it. Blood flow to the brain, that's not good. To this part of the brain. Yeah.
You made me have an epiphany.
Oh, good.
What if Mr. Girl is actually OCD, but instead of anxiously like trying to conform, he's like
Yeah.
lashing out on people or something? Like he's like, "No, you must stop doing the thing that makes me anxious right now. You must stop." And he just starts like freaking out. Instead of like
his guests know his shtick though, don't they? They know what he's doing.
he
They have,
says
like,
he's
no idea.
not acting. He's really against being non-authentic. So, and he kind of like he goes into his like psychological growing up in life and talks about like his traumas and stuff a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Is he like queer then? Not bi?
did you say queer?
Yeah, with the name Christopher. Was he
Yeah,
not bi?
he's
Not bi?
probably. I think he's bi. He said, but he's kind of not on not on board with trans stuff, or he thinks like he's like, well, he thinks gender is fake, but he thinks that the trans movement. It's kind of the points you actually brought up, basically before the first time.
Oh, last time, yeah, we did talk about this. Yeah.
Yeah, like that it can be harmful, and that we're actually like encouraging people in some spheres to like possibly harm themselves.
Definitely, yeah. Irreversibly so.
Like it could be like I think he thinks it's sort of like this cultural movement where it's almost like being trans is almost like being punk, except you actually have to like surgically change yourself to be
very
that.
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh.
I might be mischaracterizing.
Yeah.
Wait, what'd you say?
That's quite novel. I never thought of it that way before.
I don't know if that's what he thinks, but it seems like he thinks something like
idea
that.
nonetheless, yeah. I saw a comment flash up, I don't know if it's about the stream.
Wait, what?
I saw a comment on Quirky Science.
Oh, you did you? You know, I think the person left. The person, when I answered their question, I think they left, and I kind of was like checking. I'm like, are they gonna leave? No, I'm worried it's a person I like a lot, actually. But
oh, I'm sure it'll be alright. Yeah.
I don't know if I saw anything. I mean, I saw something on casual, but they're talking to someone else, actually. I don't know if there's something else though.
I think it would be okay. I didn't say anything that might. I don't think.
I'm gonna ask the person I think it is.
Message them. Put your mind at rest.
Like, was it you? Was that you out there? Interrogate them. No, I'm just kidding. It's not gonna be like that though. It's gonna be like I'm okay if they think that of me. I want to know so that I'm not like becoming a monster.
You got me intrigued now. You have to let me know.
How it goes?
um,
Yeah, okay.
now I'm quite interested. See what happens. See what effect, domino effect it has had on friendships.
They've been on the stream before. I know that. I've seen their
Oh, brilliant.
name. Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, I didn't post it to a chat they're in, but they're subbed and they watch the
Yeah.
stream frequently.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's possible. Yeah, if you're out there, I should have been like
You're out there.
saying nice things first. I have to manipulate them. No, I'm just kidding. But I do think nice things about them. I just wasn't thinking about complimenting them for the utility of making them not leave the stream because I was honest about their question and scaring them away. I instead decided to just be straight.
That's a good question. I think I'm going to sign off, Gage. Go to bed now. So
Okay. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me on, and we're having another one tomorrow, I believe.
Yes.
Excellent. Is this another dose of madness tomorrow? Or dose of
Yeah,
sadness?
I'm kind of just using that. Like, I haven't actually labeled a dose of madness as the title of anything, but I kind of want it to be anytime I'm interviewing people. So that's how I thought of it so far, but it might become something more specific.
Yeah, excellent.
Maybe I'll make different panels like this.
Yeah, I like the background. It's good. Are you going to carry on streaming then, or?
I'm probably potentially going to stream Minecraft with my friend.
Cool.
I don't know if that's what's going to happen. Wait, what?
What do I click? What do I click? I don't want to delete anything by accident or press the wrong button.
Oh, I'm just going to exit also. I could just end the call. It'll be easy.
Oh, okay. All right.
Or actually, you do actually have to exit the call. Otherwise, you'll stay.
Yeah.
And I could just come back on and, like, invade your privacy.
All right, Gage. Speak to you tomorrow, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye. Whoa, that's so cool. There's an endless portal now. Holy shit. Y'all see that? Wow. That's gonna be there every time now. That's epic. Okay, so I'll talk to y'all later. I'm gonna end... Actually, I guess I'll go and end it in, First I'll end the... There we go. And now we're gonna end the stream. So goodbye. Thank you for joining. Hopefully you could hear him. Kind of upped his voice. I actually have to fix that before I assume normal business. Okay, it's fixed. Okay, so I'll talk to y'all later. Goodbye.